A lot of people like to talk about how crappy the EVO interior is. And yeah, it is a little bit cheap and a little bit crappy, but we got to put it together anyway. So continuing on with this red EVO build, let's try to get this dash back together. The previous owner really kind of just threw this dash in here so the car was looking like it was more in one piece, which means I really need to run through all these wires and try to make sure they're in a spot where they need to be so they can connect to all the right items, that we want functional in our car. So one of the first main functional things is our ECU. I pulled the ECU out of the silver Evo since that has the tune for this engine in this setup. So I'm going to install the silver ECU in place of the red one that came with this car. Of course, I mean the ECU that came with the red car, not a red ECU. But this is where it mounts up, and there's like 3 screws that hold it in place. So I already plugged it in, and then of course we're just gonna mount it up. So while we're in this area, I'm gonna go ahead and install a cabin air filter as well. But this isn't just a basic remove the old one, install a new one, because as you can see, this one never had one. I need to cut this plate out and install a new cabin air filter. This car's very first cabin air filter, I guess. I have a whole separate video on this, more detailed if you really want to learn about this. But a lot of the 03s just didn't even come with a cabin air filter. And I was definitely glad I cleaned it out or took that plate off, because there were like big leaves just sitting in there. So it was definitely dirty in there. I cleaned it up a little bit. And then I got this new cabin air filter. What's nice about this particular one that I bought is it actually does come with the screws to bolt it in place as well, because there are no screws as well, of course, because there was no cabin air filter in this to begin with. There's the airflow direction. You're going to want the airflow arrow pointing down. But other than that, you just slide it in and then tighten up the screws. Directly under the dash where the shifter cable goes, there's a couple plugins under there that I'm going to just get plugged in. They were already ran to the right spot, so we're just going to go ahead and plug those in. And then we're going to move over to the driver's side. I'm actually going to finish up my steering column work. These bolts are for the steering column cover piece that I removed when I dropped the steering column in this car. So editing magic, just went ahead and bolted those 4 bolts in place. But while I was down here, I noticed that this HVAC heater controls were missing a lot of parts. So I went ahead and installed those. I have a whole video on this as well. They updated / revised those gears that you put in. I made that video like forever ago, but I do have a video on how you can fix that if they are stuck. And here's the controls itself. I put some grease on them. This one control for controlling the temperature, how hot or cold it is, always just kind of gets stuck. It's just a bit of a design flaw. If you can make yours kind of go halfway, either way, it's kind of as good as you can get sometimes. But I put a little grease on these to try to help the movement on them, and then I popped this piece in place and connected the control wires. And honestly, I think I hit record or forgot to hit record on installing some of this stuff, so I apologize for cutting a few things out. But of course, we need a radio. I took the radio out of the silver Evo and had the harness that I plugged in. So I just used that same harness, plugged in the antenna, and ran a ground wire, and then we had installed a radio. This car did come with a relocation kit to put the HVAC controls lower down where kind of that cubby part is. I don't know if I'm ever going to do that. I might keep those and think about it, but if you've done that, let me know if it works out all right and if you can use your factory cables or not. I'm curious if you have to use different cables if you run your climate control to that lower cubby. Now to this center dash piece here, there are of course a couple plugins. We got our hazards up there, and you need to find the wires for those, or at least I had to. Again, this dash was just kind of thrown in and the wires weren't quite pulled out to where they needed to be for everything to plug in. So I had to dig out those wires and pull them up through. So just the 2 plugins here on the back, one for the clock and one for our hazards. So of course we're going to snap those in and then start putting this piece in place as well. But you might see a theme here. A lot of the stuff is unplugged. Some of this stuff on the dash I took out myself, so I don't remember if it came unplugged or not. I should say obviously this piece was unplugged since those wires were way buried. But as I was putting this in, I kind of was like thinking to myself, you know what, the dash itself with the tack and everything probably is not even plugged in. So as I had that thought, I went ahead and removed the bezel with the gauges and stuff to just take a look. And sure enough, nothing was plugged in. So I was glad I checked that. Here's just a backside of that gauge bezel so you can see what that looks like. There's just two main plugins on there, a white one and a blue one that we're going to plug in. Same thing here, I had to fish these wires through. The blue one was kind of right where it needed to be, but the white one was kind of pinched off a bit further down, and I had to kind of finagle it up and bring it back through. I honestly think that was when I called it a night, and then I came back the next day to this mess of a dash and came back to finish up as much as we could. Luckily, again, for this stuff being cheaply built, it is pretty easy to figure out. It's kind of an easy puzzle to put together. This puzzle piece now is basically for our mirrors, so we can adjust the mirrors, and also a fog light switch. So there's just the two plugins on this switch that we're of course going to pop in place and then pop this whole panel in. Now moving back to the gauge bezel, I'm going to lower down my steering wheel a little bit so it gives us a bit more room to get in here. Plug in the two plugins, and then we should be able to put this gauge bezel back in place. And we can't forget this little surrounding area here as well. We'll put this in too. Just two screws on the top of that portion that you tighten up to hold that in place. Now, another question I have is this bolt. There's 4 bolts to hold your steering column in. This one on the left side here of the steering wheel had this weird looking washer on it on the silver car. And I'm not sure what it ever is supposed to do or where it's supposed to go. I have no idea what its function is. I don't think the red car even had one, but the silver car did when I dropped the silver car steering column. So if any of you know how that's actually supposed to function, let me know. But then the other 3 bolts, just so you can see where this is mounted up, I'm going to point those out just so you can see if you ever had to drop your steering column. You can see that those 4 total bolts are the ones you'd have to remove if you were dropping your steering column down. Back to the center part of the dash, we're just going to tighten up, pop in all the way and tighten up the screws that hold this centerpiece in place. What I find weird about the climate control stuff too is that there's really no screws holding it in place. It's kind of almost this plastic piece that holds it down. I mean, there's screws that hold the plastic piece to that you tighten up, but it's a little bit of weird setup how loose those climate controls actually are in there. Once we have those tightened up, we pop those switches on, those knobs, I should say, and then give it a test, make sure it works all right. Again, the one on the right to select where the air goes, that one usually always spins pretty well. It's the one on the left where you control the temperature. It's usually always hard to get it all the way to the AC side, and if you try to turn this while you watch the levers down by the air control box, you'll kind of see why. It just kind of binds up all the time. Now back on the driver's side, we're going to get this panel back in place. I know I kind of skipped the steering column part. I do need to get, I think, a different top piece because I broke that one, at least one of the mounting points when it came out. And I need to decide where I'm going to mount my gauges and stuff. So right now I really just want to get this interior functional. So I did leave off the part that goes around the steering column. And in this lower panel, we got a couple plugins here as well to adjust the headlights again. And then down here where this other fuse panel is, this one wire kind of runs over this part. At least I'm pretty sure that's the way it's supposed to run. So it can screw like in place. So here's that headlight leveling switch. And then I think the other one is the dimmer switch for your dash lights. Another plug in and push in place. Easy peasy. So now that our dash is looking pretty much functional, it's pretty obvious here that there's a lot of red in here, and that's because the carpet was fully removed. So that's the next step. We're going to take our seats out and get this carpet in place. I have a full video on seat interior swap where I go over that very detailed. So if you need to learn more about actually taking your seats out, you can reference that video. But once I had the seats out, the cleaning did begin. Had to start cleaning things up. Did quite a bit of vacuuming. But one last peek here inside before we put the carpet in. You can see what it looks like. And then one thing I'm going to have to fix a bit later, I think I mentioned this in a different video, is the one rough spot on this car is this rear floor pan here a little bit. You can see my fingers waving through. It's getting a little rusty here. I should have that cut out and fixed up sometime, but not today. This car just needs to get functional first. So did a lot of vacuuming, got a lot of dirt and stuff out of there with the old shop vac. Same thing when it came to the carpet. The carpet's definitely not in the best condition, but it should function just fine. And it weighs a lot. And you guys, it's crazy how heavy your carpet actually is with all the sound deadening stuff in it. But we're going to, of course, throw that in place and then start spreading it out. There are different little clips on each side, those white clips that kind of clip on to hold it in place. And then we're just going to keep moving it around and kind of lining up. I think I used the front studs for the seats as kind of a reference point to get it lined up first, starting out there. Did some more vacuuming once I had it in place. And then where the seatbelts bolt in as well, it kind of goes through a hole in the carpet. So we tightened up the bolts holding our seatbelt in place as well, because of course we want to make sure our seatbelts are all set. Now we should be able to throw our seats back in place. There is a plug-in for the driver's side seat. I don't think anything plugs in to the passenger side seat. But again, I have a more detailed video going over all of this interior swap stuff. I'll link to that in video description if you want to watch that video. And I probably did it a little bit reverse order. I could have put these interior pieces in these middle beam pieces that go between the doors. I could have put that in place before the seats. It would have been a little bit easier, but it's definitely doable this way as well. So I got those interior pieces on both sides, and then also the lower door trim kick panels or whatever you call them. I put those in place, of course, too, on both sides as well. Clean things up a little bit and then just got them snapped in place. And finally, our rear seat. Since I just want this to kind of look functional, we got our rear seat in place as well. Just getting those seatbelt parts up into the slots where they slide in, and then you slide the seat back, and then it helps to kind of pull the latches. There are two latches on each side of the seat on the lower front part of it, and then you can just kind of get those snapped in, and then your back seat's in place. But that's about it. I finally have what's pretty much a good functional interior. Some of the other trim pieces go in real easy, or their center console stuff should go in real easy and real quick. I want to test things out a little bit more too. I don't have a battery connected yet or anything. I'm hopeful that everything I plugged in is going to function and work fine, but I certainly got to do all that testing. But I'm happy to have a functional interior. Honestly, it's been a month of time working on this just intermittently while I was working on other things. So this video was kind of started like a month ago when I first put the ECU in, and then I finally got around to kind of getting the rest of the interior and the seats and the carpet and stuff in place. So I just wanted to hold off on doing a video for this, as it was just all interior components. But there you have it. I have the original garbage EVO interior installed. Of course, the Recaro seats aren't garbage. The seats are awesome in the car, but the rest of it's kind of cheap. But it's good to have it installed and in place, and just generally making more progress on this red EVO build. It's been good. I want to get this car ready in a couple months. Hopefully once springtime rolls around, hopefully the car will be drivable, and hopefully you'll be tagging along and watching along the way. So as always, this is Paul from Boosted Films saying thanks so much for watching. I just want to say that domestic violence is never okay. If you or someone you know is experiencing issues with a partner and doesn't feel safe, please visit the website thehotline.org or call 1-800-799-SAFE.